Hello and welcome back to another Betting Bankers live stream. We're here to discuss all things sports gambling related with a focus on soccer, horse racing, NFL and NBA. We share our bets before the event starts and then we monitor the progress as the action happens. Let's get cheering on those winners and making some money.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Betting Bankers. We're a little bit later than normal today, but we got a there's a few games that kicked off, so we probably have to dive straight into this because a few of the bets we have are already live. So I think we might pass to Gary actually first on this one. He's got probably an ideal away goal in one of the Italian matches, which is always what you want to see for a goals bet.
Yeah, so happy with that. So basically, I did kind of a speculative bet for myself. We have a kind of a team bet that we'll talk about later on. But I've Stuttgart to win at home to Cologne. I've Nottingham Forest to beat Derby. I've Ross Barkley to get one shot on target in the Aston Villa Leeds game. Empoli Pisa over 2.5, and then Rennes to win at home to Angers. So it started brightly with the Empoli goal, the Pisa goal away to Empoli, but it's just taking a little bit of a hit now because Derby have gone 1-up against Nottingham Forest. Still plenty of time left in that game though, and Forest have been decent lately. They started the season shocking, having a manager got 4 points out of the last 6, and Derby have just been terrible all season. So even though Derby are leading, I'd still fancy Forest to make a comeback.
Plenty of time there.
A long way to go. It started all right. This is a bit of action.
Yeah, I think that Italian game might undermine the rest of us. We'll see there's plenty of time left for goals to come back, but we'd actually come with a home win and they've conceded early, so it's never what you want to see at the start your weekend betting off like that.
Plenty of time.
Yeah. Actually, I missed the Derby goal. Who scored for Derby?
I don't know. I just saw it flash up as I was going through. So I'm actually going to go in and watch the game now. So I'll be able to provide kind of...
Go to log off and just head off and watch the game.
Yeah, I'm going to provide like live updates. Well, obviously I'm streaming here on Sky Go, so I'll probably be a minute or two behind the action. But I'm going to watch it now. I don't know who scored the goal. It's only half an hour gone though. I was hoping to watch Leeds versus Derby, but it seems as though that must be a pay-per-view game because it's not on Sky or BT.
I saw people tweeting about another £15 or something like that, and so
they're doing pay-per-view.
Did you miss this, lads? So
you've been on their stone for the last 2 weeks.
Oh man! So the games that aren't already included in the Sky or BT packages, they only get about 60% of the games.
Yeah.
The other games that were being shown free to air during lockdown, they are now not shown.
They're cashing in on them basics.
It's £15 a game if you want to watch them.
Oh my God, the rotten bastard.
Yeah.
You know what? Like people will pay it too, like of course. Your team.
Boom. Sorry to put across you, but Ross Barkley has one shot on target, so
I saw Villa had a shot on target. That's such a great bet. Like it's going to be my bloody 2 to 5s that are going to let that accumulate around. 4 to 1 walks in. I was very tempted just to get on it alone.
The thing is, not all the bookies.
I got to back it alone myself, but it's good that it's in the bag, one in the bag early. So.
And in your accumulator, you have that 8 to 11 just for one shot on target, don't you?
Yeah, so that's going to hinge on Forest now coming back against Derby. So fingers crossed they can turn around. If Forest even get an equaliser, that bet has started very, very good. So happy with that.
Anyone who watched last week will know as well that Gary shared plenty of, we call them unwinning tips with us, but also had his own accumulator that won. So that'll be a team on the show.
Unwinning.
Yeah.
Unwinning.
If you throw enough darts, you're gonna hit the board once,
Yeah.
So lads, on the most disgraceful thing about the £15 the game is they 2 years ago or whatever before COVID, on a Premier League Saturday at 3 o'clock, you'd have like 5 or 6 games on, and everybody be at them. So they rejigged the schedule so that people will be able to watch their team. And then, as LP was saying, like, get 6 months of you being able to watch your team for free, basically, because every game was televised. And now they've gone and said, no, it has to be, it's like $14.95 for every game that wasn't scheduled to be on. But like, I don't know whether we had it on the stream last week or whether it was offline. I was talking to them. If I'm rehashing something, sorry for the regular listeners.
I don't think
rehash it. We only talk about stuff here.
The average UK salary is about 27.5 grand, right, across the whole of the UK. The average season ticket is about £800. But then if you add in a Sky and BT subscription to that, that's another 800 or 900 quid, right? So that's like 1,800 quid, let's say, that you're paying if you have a Sky subscription and you have a season ticket. And most teams have made their team or made their fans pay for a season ticket, even though you can't go. So like me, I've got a West Ham season ticket. So I've shelled out for that. I've shelled out for Sky and BT and a contract. So I'm spending about 1,900 quid a year on football as it is, which equates to about 8% of the average UK salary. So, like, if you're working at Tesco or something like that, and you support Man United, sure, you're not able to have TV, your season ticket, and pay 15 quid a game. Then it's ridiculous the amount of money they want fans to spend. So,
but it's like, is it still something that a normal Joe Soap would have an expectation of being able to have a season ticket to a Premier League club, or because I always kind of thought that it was out of the reach of those types of people already?
No, like
it depends on the club.
For West Ham, it's very cheap because they moved to the Olympic Stadium and they need to fill it. For like Spurs or Arsenal, it would be like a normal Joe Soap on. Like, I say, even if you're on the average salary there, you'd have to be saving up for it, because I think the average Spurs ticket is about £1,000, probably the same for Arsenal, maybe more, and maybe a couple of year waiting list for them and things like that. But
I think it was bad form of the clubs to do that. That if you don't renew your season ticket, even though there's no matches, you're just off the list and you go to the bottom of the waiting list if you want to come back. The people who could have been on it for 20 years, you're asking them to pay 800 quid of their salary to do nothing. And then, like a lot of people, like we know a few of them, Gary, with the West Ham matches. It's fathers paying for their sons' tickets and people going with their family. It's not, obviously there's people have their own ticket, but some people are paying for 2 or 3 tickets.
Multiple tickets,
like I do have to give, I don't normally give West Ham credit, but I do have to give them credit in terms of they did bring in a thing where you could pay like 30% of the season ticket. And it just meant that, so if they did go back, let's say they were allowed to go into the stadium next week with a quarter of capacity. So quarter capacity is about maybe 15 to 20,000. They do that on a ballot basis between all the season ticket holders. And if you only pay 30%, you're not able to enter that ballot. So you have to be a full season ticket holder to enter.
Speaking of West Ham, did you see the thing with this? Speaking of West Ham, I saw this. I thought it was a joke when I saw it. So they've opened up. They're showing the West Ham match this weekend.
Oh, in the cinema.
In the cinemas. Yeah. So in the View Cinema beside the West Ham Stadium in the Stratford Shopping Centre, there's going to be 350 fans allowed in to watch West Ham in the cinema, about 300 meters from the stadium where they're not allowed in. Outdoors.
It's ridiculous.
Indoor instead of outdoor.
Yeah, it's like you're trying to wind people up. Like, what's the most ludicrous way we can do this?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So another thing it's kind of a little bit off topic, but like I own shares in 5 horses, all right? A greyhound.
All those winning tips that you don't share with us.
Go on, guys, go on.
And I have 2 season tickets, so I have a Shelbourne season ticket and a West Ham season ticket, right? So
you're doing well on the average salary, guys.
I know, yeah. Follow 15 to 1 actors that I'll be getting up every week. But so I can't do anything. I can't go to watch my horses, can't go to watch the greyhound, can't go to watch a football match. And about 100 yards down the road, a fucking circus is pulled up. So you're allowed to go to a grotty little tent and bring your kids to the circus, but you can't go to a football match. It's ridiculous.
If anyone from the circus is watching, we're not calling your tent.
Rest of the gills.
Them circuses would be going around in a nuclear fallout. They're unstoppable.
Oh,
Madness.
imagine if they picked up the COVID in one town, let's bring it to the next town, bring it to the next town. It's like super spreaders. Oh, God.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, some of those rules are just like, you know what, obviously any golfers as well are ranting about the fact that they've been stopped from going to play golf. And, you know, it's you know, quite often a solitary sport, so I don't understand them. But crucially, we're not allowed to go to matches, so.
The whole COVID situation just before we move on is Paddy's golf tips on Twitter. Have you seen any of them? Poor Carrington doing his little videos on Twitter.
Very good.
Really
Good.
Like tips as in how to play golf or betting tips?
Yeah, like he has this lovely little setup, a little putting green, probably about 80 yards, Gary. Is it 100 yards maybe?
So like Mark has in his back garden, like he basically has a golf course.
He has
A little putting green.
Of course.
Yeah.
A little putting green. It's 80 or 100 yards. You're like, man, it's pretty big.
I thought he had this little quaint little hole and just a little, a little area, but I didn't realise it was a full course.
Well, no, he lives on a golf course and then has his own whole, like, golf hole, I would say, like in his back garden. But like he'd be hitting the balls towards his house, like, and over there.
I know, over the house and everything.
Where does he live? Is he living in Ireland?
Yeah, I'm not too
golf
sure
course is he on?
where about. I think it could be around the K Club somewhere, either in the K Club or one of the courses around there, but I'm not 100% sure. The Irish based. But yeah, no, his tips are good. So anybody looking to learn golf, like, he goes right from beginner to, like, expert kind of.
Tips that aren't good. We have Sassuolo was one of the primary bets of our accumulator tonight. They've just conceded.
Who is?
Okay.
Sassuolo.
Oh,
We were
that's
talking
it.
about how bad
I don't think I've ever
Torino
pronounced
are.
them properly.
Yeah, I was going to call them S versus T. Yeah. Yeah, I can't believe. I still think they'll come back and win though. Like we were looking at it, they've scored something like 19 goals already. Or no, they've scored 13 goals already this season. So
12 in their last 3 games.
yeah, exactly.
Jesus, there's some amount of chances in that game already.
I feel like 4-2 must be their most typical result.
Yeah, it's actually looking like it's heading that way again. And in fairness, Empoli are all over Pisa too. Like Pisa's only shot has been their goal. Empoli, that's 2 on target.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with both.
So
of those.
hopefully they can turn things around as well.
Yeah, I'd say I'm looking at it here. Valencia have just gone down to Elche as well. I'd say loads of people would have backed Valencia tonight as all the accumulators. I think we thankfully missed them.
That was one of those games, wasn't it? The big name sticks out.
Yeah, like they haven't been good for years, but I think they're actually beside each other on the table, like 12th and 13th or 13th and 14th or something like that. Well, I'm pretty poor on La Liga now, I must say. So what have you picked out for tonight's lads? You've got a couple of goal bets for us.
Yeah, I went for the Dutch League again, 3 games, and I backed over 3.5 goals in each game. So I'm waiting on 12 goals for that to come in. I so far have 0 goals 30 minutes in, so it hasn't been a good start. Well, 25, 30 minutes in. But the stats were all looking pretty decent. The first one, the Grass Chap versus PSV, they both averaged 4 goals per game, and the last for head-to-heads have averaged 4 goals per game or more. Or have 4 goals per game or more. So yeah, I'm kind of expecting it again. Eindhoven are 3.5 goals per game average. AZ are 5 3/4 or 5.75 goals per game, the highest in the league. Their last game finished 4-2, and their head before that has been pretty high scoring as well. And then Den Bosch, 3.5 goals per game, and Excelsior over 4 goals per game, and their last game finished 6-4. And some of the head-to-heads before were equally crazy.
I always just feel.
5 or more goals.
I always just
So they
feel
all
back
look
in. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, say that again, LB.
No, I just feel like 3.5 feels like such a hurdle to get over.
Those, yeah. Individually, I think they're all good, but for all 3 of them to have 4 goals is a bit of an ask, all right? Like,
Yeah.
but there was nothing. There was none of the 3 that stood out over the others. They all kind of equally look like they should have a lot of goals.
Yeah.
So far, they have 0. And then in my combined bet, I did over 2.5, made it a bit safer in the PSV game, and then the Eindhoven AZ game. I just did both teams to score, which that's the one that ended 6-4 the last time. Like, so.
And those games must be relentlessly entertaining if you're at them. 6-4.
It must be, not tonight though. There's 5 games on in that division at the moment, and there's 1 goal so far, hitting 30 minutes in every game. So, now, I do think you remember my old favourite first half goals bets. Like that Dutch league let me down a good few times in the first half goals, and it was the sort of thing back in 1 goal in the first half, and then 3 minutes into the second half there'd be a goal and it would finish like 4-1, but none in the first half, so I'm
they're all in on the fix except
those kind of leagues are ones where you need the kind of the floodgates to open early. Like it's like the Serie B or Serie C. If you get a goal in the first 5 minutes of the game could end up 5-4, But if it's 0-0 at half time, the likelihood is it's going to finish 0-0 or one might be a bit
that's
honest.
kind of contradicting what I just said, but yeah.
Really? I thought you said the second half of the games have.
I was saying I'd back a goal in the first half and it'd be none, but then the game would go on to finish like 4-1 or something.
Oh really? No, I've often seen it differently now to that like once the floodgates open, loads of goals come.
Yeah. No, I know we've seen it in Serie B, alright.
It's only with the Serie B that you can nearly tell 20 minutes in, you're just like, this is not going to be our night.
Who's going to let us down? Yeah.
But I think
Go ahead, Eagles, we didn't go back to at all after our first stream. I thought they were going to be our pet project this year, but I'm just having a look, Slat, seeing as your bets on in the league, and they seem to be like they are. There's nothing seemingly about it. They actually are bang on mid-table. 10th place, played 9, won 3, drew 3, lost 3.
Oh wow.
Yeah, distinctly average. But we'll keep an eye on
No
it.
offense to anybody involved in that club. They're distinctly average. So no offense to anybody involved in the club, but they're distinctly average.
Yeah, fantastic club, fantastic people by all accounts. So I've been told.
Yeah. Did someone say they had Rennes backed?
Yeah.
So they'd gone up and now they're pegged back.
Yeah, 1-1, yeah.
Oh God, goals all over the place, but not really coming out where we want them.
Yeah, it's still plenty of time left though.
And when we're talking about the clubs, like, are we going to make a little bit of effort to pronounce the club name in the local language, or are we just going to be straight through, just kind of
phonetic?
Like some of them you can get away with, like you could chance your arm at maybe. Sorry to go ahead, Eagles, we give it a shot. Some of the French ones, like I was going to say there, Gary, we went to that team in France, and like just how they say it and how we read it.
Is it?
Yeah,
it's pronounced Reims, but it's spelled Reims. So we were walking around and we were just like, oh yeah, we're going to see Reims next week.
Reims.
And everybody was like, oh yeah. And then one of the lads in work was like, oh, do you mean Reims? And I was like, yeah, it's in France, like, I asked like a person I know in France then, I was just like, oh, how'd you pronounce it? And I'm like, oh yeah, it's Reims.
Yeah, we gave that guy no credit. Well, you gave him no credit for. You just like when someone says that's Reims, you're just like, that can't be how you say it.
I know. The two of us were. The two of us were like, yeah, we're going to France, like. So, yeah. You have to be careful with the mispronunciation, all right?
Yeah. It's as well with some players, isn't it? Like the commentators would make. I always remember Cazorla.
Yeah.
They always make such an effort to call him Cazorla, but then there's other players they just make no effort at all. Like Jesus, obviously they're not calling him Jesus, but there's some other guys they just make no effort whatsoever. It seems like the commentators' convention at the start of the season, they just decide which guys are getting.
I mean, I'd like us to adhere to the commentators' convention. I think it'd be interesting if we all really made an effort to pronounce the names of how they should be pronounced locally. I think that could be quite fun.
I struggle with English, so I don't know whether I might be able to do the French or Italian.
Yeah, we'd probably actually get.
You're quite good at it now. You've got the Spanish influence, like.
Me?
Yeah.
It's probably the only one.
You said Cazorla, that kind of rolled off the tongue, to be honest. That little lisp isn't the easiest to do at that speed.
My Spanish language influence would be Latin American, and they don't do that. sort of stutter thing, so I kind of do it on purpose as a joke, but now it kind of sticks, and I sometimes find myself saying THs like, and when I don't mean to, so got to be careful that I don't overdo it.
You're going to have to give us a rundown of the Mexican football situation sometime.
It's actually good. It's actually a good league, but the problem is it's just half the matches are on when we're in bed. But it's always good on Sunday. Like Sunday afternoon, there's always a couple of matches. And usually go to Ramas as well. So
Is there goals there, yeah?
yeah. It's mad matches though. Like kind of like Gary said, like it's either all or nothing. You're going to get your like 4-3s and 3-2s and plenty of 0-0s then to
Hard to bet on it that way if it's one extreme or the other, you know.
yeah.
Just want consistent goals all the time.
Yeah.
Rugby scores.
Still can't make money when there's consistent goals all the time either.
No, keep the odds the same. Just the goals.
Did I send you on the picture that I took on the TV of one of the Mexican stadiums with the billboards? We'll throw it up on Twitter after the thing. Like they've just put like 3 extra tiers of billboards. It's like being in a Coliseum, just 20-30 meter high billboards all around the stadium. It's absolutely insane, just to compensate for the lack of fans. Like when you're watching it, it's so bizarre. It's like watching something that is kind of like a video game. But that's mad.
Yeah.
What are on the billboards?
Just extra signs, like just the hoardings that'd be around the pitch, and on top of them they've just put more,
right.
and on top of them they've put more, and it's like 20-30 meters.
I thought there was going to be some illusion of fans being there, like some kind of image of.
Just pure advertising. But their kits as well are like, there's not an inch of advertising anymore, is it? It's just all advertisement.
Yeah, Coca-Cola on one arm, Pepsi on the other. Just.
I'm surprised other leagues haven't gone that way. They look like a bloody Formula One driver, like with plays them all over.
Yeah.
I'd say what it is though is that the main team spending, like if you're paying, whatever, £40 million a year to have DHL on the front of your United jersey.
Yeah, it's exclusive.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I know Munster have Shannon Airport across their backsides these days.
Do they?
Oh God.
Yeah.
You do see it rugby, 2 or 3 sponsors on a jersey, maybe.
Yeah. But they're not getting anything like the money though, are they? So.
No, exactly. No, not at all.
I was reading recently about, because I was just looking at, did we talk about on the stream about the disaster that Barcelona are having financially? Did we talk about that one of the weeks? And the players.
Don't call
I
it.
think we briefly mentioned like when they sold those players for Pitt.
Oh, that did come up.
Yeah.
So that kind of set me off just looking into their finances and like, my God. But it's only about 8 or 9 years ago that they had no jersey sponsors and they were paying UNICEF millions every year to put UNICEF on the jersey. And then all of a sudden it went from, like 10 million a year to 3 million to €1 they paid them 1 year. And then the next year they were like, we can't.
You actually paid them €1 1 year?
Yeah. Or like maybe something small anyway, a token amount. And then the next year it went from the jersey to the arm, like to the sleeve. And then they were just gone. And it was like.
Well, when you're going out and buying Coutinho for like 150 million and then loaning him to Bayern with a clause that if he wins the Champions League with them, they have to pay them another 10 million. Like, it just doesn't make financial sense. So I can see how they get into that hole. Like,
like they've sadly over the last few years, their transfer deals haven't been good at all. At all.
No. But the amount of players they had on like more than 300 grand a week was ludicrous. At one point they had like 12 or 13 players on more than 300 grand a week. So it's just not sustainable.
And LB, what's Ozil this week?
Say that again?
Ozil. So he had this little public spat this week.
Yeah, I mean that's been brewing for a long time. I don't know where I fall down.
Empoli have just equalised.
Lovely. I
can try.
That's class for your goals, bets. What's that, Gary?
Said I just had to give the boom booms.
Yeah.
Empoli.
Be nice now if the Swallow got back in the saddle. Yeah, Ozil, it was like I can't remember. Have they reduced the squad size this year? I think they did, and they're down by about 2 players. So I think
and the mascot.
Yeah, the mascot. But there's no way he doesn't deserve to be in that squad. Like I'm sure they'll either sell him in January or reintroduce him because like.
What about the mascot? Are you just messing, or is there something? Is there a story?
Oh no, they made a load of people redundant, including the mascot.
They got rid of the mascot, cost saving, and then they signed Tom Party.
What sort of salary would a mascot be on in the Premier League?
I don't know, but
100
Ozil
quid.
offered anyway to pay the mascot out of his wages. So then Ozil and the club kind of had a public dispute online. The club just came back and said, look, he took voluntary redundancy while there's no matches and he'll get his job back when it's over. And then about 2 weeks after then, Ozil just got cut from the squad. So Arsenal announced their Premier League squad and Ozil's not in it. So then,
Is there something else to that now?
Think so.
Probably don't want to get fucking sued by Arsenal, but
I don't
saw
believe-
online.
We've bigger
about,
pockets than them. At least we can employ a mascot.
Yeah. But I saw online that essentially Ozil had said something about isn't there like Muslims that are oppressed in China, and
we're
He
treading on thin
he
ice.
said something about that.
Yeah, he basically, there is a whole thing going on over there and he commented on it. And
That's a challenge of creation as well.
yeah, but I don't think that, like, Arteta came out and basically said, look, there's a lot of rumours out there and it's my squad, I'll pick the players and, it's football and reasons. Like, it would be a strange one to do over that because he's made comments in the past. I mean, not that we'll ever know, but...
He needs to.
I saw them online and I was hoping they weren't true because people were basically saying that...
He said he made a political stand, they didn't agree with him. The thing is, he'd already been dropped at that stage. He's kind of had a few chances to get back into the team and it hasn't worked out. I don't buy into that rumor, to be honest, but you never do know. But I mean, they were making, even at the start of the summer, they offered to pay him his whole salary up front just to leave. Yeah, and he said no. And
Like, the move's been a failure for him overall and the club, hasn't it? Like, it's just hasn't been in any way
I wouldn't
successful.
say for the club. Like,
hasn't been a failure for his bank balance anyway.
No, true.
We're talking about Ozil anyway.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Pete. Special guest arrives with unannounced.
yeah.
Glad to be here.
We gave you the key to the front door and you just walk in and don't even say hello. You just...
Well, I don't like to
interrupt.
interrupt. You were in the middle of a passionate debate there, discussion.
actually talked.
Were you waiting for Empoli to equalise before coming on, is it?
Exactly. Yeah, obviously. But the only leg that's looking well, Barkley had one shot on target that I've seen anyway.
Yeah.
Still one.
Come here, can I just...
monitoring away here.
Can I just raise our pronunciations of Empoli? Can we come up to a group consensus about how we're going to deal with that going forward? Are we Empoli or Empoli?
I would have said Empoli.
I would be Empoli, but I think Slats was in the Empoli bracket, so.
I thought I said Empoli. Did I say Empoli? I don't have a clue, by the way.
I heard Empoli.
This is why we need to coordinate on this. It needs to be agreed.
Yeah. I actually thought you were talking about Poli earlier on, Slats, for a second, to be honest.
Yeah, let's stick with Empoli.
But if you just keep changing it every time, you can't get pinned down. Then just say a slight variation on the name every second time. You'll be all right.
Yeah. I mean, Slats, that was well delivered. Did I say Empoli? Did I say that?
Feigning.
I'd probably just switch from one to the other just for at least I'm right half the time then.
Exactly. It's a good tactic.
So, PK, we actually haven't talked a huge amount of football now while you were away. With mostly politics about pricing of Premier League matches and Chinese and Arsenal stuff.
Yeah.
So we might dive into. You have a few Friday bets picked out, do you?
Huh?
You have a few Friday bets picked out for us.
No, I'd rather not talk about them actually. the way they're going.
Your Canberra one is going alright, PK. They're up 1-2-0.
What did I do in that?
I think you did over 2.5 or over 3.5. I think over 2.5.
3.5, yeah, but the grab shot were 1 down and then -1, so that can't. Like I'm just gonna have to look at the stats in that game. Oh wait,
They just equalised.
Yeah,
They just equalised. Yeah.
But I'm gonna have to look at the stats because judging by the table and results, like it just doesn't make any sense. Still not overly confident. 1-1 at half time. It could still happen.
You've over 2.5 in that game, the Nebraska PSV game.
Yeah.
In our combined bets, so that's looking on course at least.
Yeah, but Sassuolo are 1-0 down at half time, right?
It's
Yeah.
about the fifth variation on that pronunciation so far tonight.
What are they called? Sassuolo?
No, PK, I think you nailed it. Don't be doubting yourself.
No, there was no implication that he was wrong. I was just saying that he's brought a new one to the table for us.
Just the four that came before you, man.
yeah.
We're just gonna go with Sass.
Yeah, Sass.
Probably safest, yeah.
Stuttgart aren't doing a huge amount now, are they? It's
What else?
54
What
minutes.
else they have for Friday evening? It's gone anyway because I had both teams to score in the Danish Division 1 game, and the away team won 3-0. Mad assumption that home teams is pretty good to score when they're not. It didn't work.
Both teams to score is such a tempting one to throw in there, but it's banana skin as well.
And I have the Romanian league leaders Craiova in. I don't know. They were they're 70% possession. They won all their games. They've had 10 corners and they're 1-0 down with 2 minutes left. They were 7 from 7, I think, in the beginning of the league there, and the other team's near the bottom, and they're at home. I don't know. That's mean nothing sometimes, right?
But you know what? I feel Friday matches have that the whole time. You'd be looking at them, you go, "There's no way this team can lose," and then they just lose 2-0, and you're just like, "How does that even?" It always seems to happen on a Friday.
Yeah, or even Saturday with Atalanta like that last weekend, right? And then Napoli lose to AZ Alkmaar at home in the Europa League, with a pretty strong team out.
They were big favourites.
Fourth, yeah.
You're at home to AZ Alkmaar, who, no offense to them, but Atalanta are quite a couple of levels above them at the moment.
Napoli are even more about that.
Completely mugging us off.
Absolutely.
Sometimes I do wonder if you just back the opposite of what you're thinking. So that's infuriating.
Yeah.
Moving on from the football slats, you've got a slightly different bet picked out for us this weekend for the bet of the weekend.
Yeah, there's plenty of rugby on this club, and the Six Nations is back. Obviously, it stopped in March with COVID, so I spent a long time looking at it, and to be honest, I don't have a clue what's going to happen with it. It's hard to know what way any of it will go when it's the first game back. So I just went for a total novel sort of bet. I think it's 45-1, and it's for Conway to score the first try of the game and Stockdale to score the second try, which just seems very kind of plausible. I mean, certainly at the club rugby, I was watching some of Zebra and Treviso's games, and where they were conceding was out wide. It's likely going to be the back three that are scoring tries. Conway's been on good try scoring form for Munster and for Ireland over the last couple of seasons. And
what would they be individually to score a try? What would they be priced at?
I'd say Conway to be first try scorer is probably maybe 9-2, that sort of way.
First, and what would he be any time?
Against Italy. I'll take a look here now, but if I can get it. But
against Italy, my guess would be 4-6.
Okay.
And what?
Yeah, because it's highly likely all the wingers will score a try, right?
You'd expect, yeah. I mean, they've been putting an average of 6 or 7 tries past Italy over the last 4 seasons, so.
Yeah, the Italians. Munster well up against Serie at the moment.
But again, you just don't know, how things are going to gel or what, what with Italy. Italy got rid of Conor O'Shea. Conor O'Shea went through 3 Six Nations and didn't get a single win. And I have a lot of respect for Conor O'Shea's. I know he was doing a lot more work in the background, but it's hard to see a new coach.
You can't really lose either ways. That's because I know it was a long time ago and we didn't live stream it, so it's very much after time. But you did tip up France at a big price for the Six Nations.
Yeah, but went and lost to Scotland, but
it's still between them and Ireland, really, isn't it? And kind of
I tipped them up and they could still win it. But what I actually backed them to win the Six Nations and England to finish second. It was crazy. It was something like 25-1 or 50-1 or something. And it was looking very likely there for a while.
Italy are 50-1 tomorrow.
Yeah, that's to be expected.
Is it like in a normal season, would they be that? They wouldn't be 50-1 in a normal season, would they, in Dublin?
Yeah, they would, yeah.
Would they, yeah?
Yeah, the handicap is probably 13, is it?
28.
Oh, Jesus. My off.
I mean, 13 would be very generous for a 50-1 shot, no?
Yeah, it would, but 28 is... a lot.
But some of the matches, I can remember a couple of those Ireland-Italy matches where they actually become, like, they're not even that fun to watch when they're racking up 50, 60 points, and you're just like, oh, God.
No. But have we not had struggles against them the last few years? Like, has there not been a few dogged games, like, where we're just inching it?
Yeah, I think so.
Against Italy?
Yeah.
No, not recently. Like, they beat us kind of just when Raj was kind of fading out of the game a bit. Was there one game, I think maybe Paddy Jackson...
I remember that when O'Gara kicked the ball sideways across the pitch instead of passing it. Remember that?
Yeah, that might have been against Scotland, but I think it was the same season that we lost.
Calamity.
So there were a few close games back then. There was another one, I remember Raj scoring a drop goal to win the game against Italy, and it should never have been that.
I'm just looking at, I have all the try score prices up here now. Conway and Stockdale anytime is 5-9. Which is whatever.
Yeah, that's
60% return.
More odds on than 4-6.
But they're both, which is an angle to look at here, they're both 6-1 first try score. So you could back both feasibly on singles, and you'd have judging by your analysis on your double, because I don't think Bet365 here have anything for second try score, but you could back them both as singles, and realistically you'd have a decent chance, right?
What, back both of them as first try score?
Yeah, it's 6-1 each.
Yeah, so you're getting 3-1 basically.
You're getting 3-1 on what has a good chance.
One of the two will be first try score.
Interestingly, every single Irish player has an anytime touchdown or try score touchdown here. Try score is shorter price than any Italian player.
Jesus.
Really?
Yeah.
Say that again. So, like, any, like, second row or substitute?
Porter.
Anywhere. Every single Irish player is a shorter price than any Italian player. Anytime try score.
Wow.
Like, who's the least likely person to score on a rugby team? A try.
An Italian, but it sounds at those odds.
An Italian.
An
Italian.
Apologies to our Italian listeners.
According to this, it's Keane Healy on the Irish team anyway.
Empoli, Sassuolo, and now Italian rugby fans.
They've already turned up.
And
it's Italian night in the party.
And Atlanta, well and truly in the big C list from last weekend too. So we're not as much as we like betting against them or betting in the markets. We're not big fans of what's happening in Italy at the moment.
No, when I did that France bet, Gary, the Six Nations bet for France to win, I also backed their young scrum half Dupont to be player of the tournament, and that, like, I think unless some player does something unreal over the next 2 games, I think Dupont has that in the bag. Like the first 3 games of the tournament,
especially the first 2 games I saw France, he was deadly. Like
when they beat England, really, he was still decent against Scotland. They lost.
That game feels like so long ago.
Doesn't it? It's weird.
It could be like 3 seasons ago, sort of thing. Like
at
the last time, that they played.
Expecting the players to come out with beers, like those veteran games. You know what I mean? They all be kind of like.
But like, even for me, like looking at this list, there's some players in this that, and true enough, I'm not the biggest follower of rugby anymore. Like, but who the hell is Hugo Keenan? He's 3rd on this list.
Yeah, he's an
young lad, isn't he? New guy.
Debut.
He's a scrum half.
No, he's a winger.
Oh,
he's graded the touchdowns, PK.
But where is he? Is he starting, or do we know the starting lineup?
He's starting. Stockdale's starting full back. That's why I think Stockdale. There's been a lot of talk about Stockdale and him moving to full back, and he's been playing a bit with full back for Ulster. So there's kind of he's on. The spotlight's on him a bit. Like plus, like since Stockdale was top try scorer when Ireland did the grandstand last, he's barely scored a try for Ireland. Like he hasn't been scoring very awesome.
Am I wrong in saying that he's like the second Hugo in a few years to play for Ireland? Was there a guy that was born in Barcelona as well plays?
Trivia moment. Ding ding.
Played rugby for Ireland.
Rugby for Ireland, yeah. He was born in Barcelona and then grew up in Ireland, but he had. I thought it was Hugo as well.
This is all new.
I think he was a fly half.
I can't even remember any Spanish-born player.
This rugby league, Gary.
Huh?
The sevens, maybe.
No. Maybe I'm dreaming.
Sure?
Hugo Patrick O'Neill, born 1958.
No.
Just more than a few years ago. Only one or two more now.
I'm gonna Google it here now and see.
Well, that's the only way we're going to find out about it.
Doesn't ring any bells.
Sorry, it was Geordie Murphy I was thinking about. I knew it was something exotic.
Amazing. Hugo
They're kind of the same
Jordan.
names, in fairness. Like
No,
someone,
they're all, it's
Whatever.
not
Keep
fucking
four names
Paddy and
anyway,
Sean
Gary.
and what you
I'll do
used
four
to,
names.
so like.
was he born in Spain? Was he Geordie?
I think
Yeah,
so,
Canary Island.
Was he?
I'm fairly sure. I might have cheating as-
You know, exactly.
Was he? No.
I'll be impressed enough if he was born in Spain, Gary, even though his name is nothing like Hugo.
I think he's just mixing him up with Jordi Alba and thinking that it's.
He was born in Barcelona.
Are you sure?
Born in the city's Val de Helbron Hospital on the eve of St. Geordie's Day before the 1992 Olympics.
No, there's some.
So I knew there was a Spanish influence. In the
He was
team,
born
but I
at.
just
Yeah. Jordi Alba.
I always liked him, though. I always liked him as a player.
Which one? Alba or Murphy?
Geordie Murphy.
I actually thought his name was Jordan and it was just one of those stupid Dublin nicknames that they give people.
He always played for the Leicester Tigers. Never played for another club. 316 appearances.
You're thinking of Jordan Murphy, right?
Yeah, the fullback. Jordy Murphy is the
Jordan Murphy's
back row.
the back row for Leinster.
He's Ulster now.
There.
He's with Ulster now, yeah. Nordy Murphy, they're calling him.
Nice input there, actually, though. Nice input.
No, it's perfect. I'm not having a tangent here. Don't worry. He's my favourite ever.
Jordan
Google
Murphy.
You
it.
just went on to Google and just searched stats about him to try and look like you know what you're talking about. Oh, he played for the Leicester Tigers for a couple of years.
I mean, I think...
I think he played for the Renford Rejects after that, right?
Yeah, the best.
Oh, man.
anyway, sorry.
So am I hearing that Hugo Keenan is probably more likely than Stockdale to score, right? From wing than fullback, right?
I wouldn't say so, no. I mean, fullback, you can still come in between the centre and the winger on an attacking.
I know that, but if we're saying that they concede mainly off the wing, well, I don't know. Yeah, okay.
No, I mean, I was saying they conceded a lot of wide, but like I watched the highlights of the Zebra game there from last week, and they 2 tries they were from the fullback, like.
Yeah.
So.
I imagine Ireland will start by going through the hands anyway, so hopefully it won't be.
Yeah, I think it'll put it up to them up front for a while, so I do think the score.
In fairness, Italy always do, and quite often their matches are still tied 55, 60 minutes in, and then their pack just get knackered out, and then they just can't do anything.
Yeah, they tire, yeah.
They don't have the depth of squad either, so yeah.
Still have the best national anthem, though.
Yeah, definitely.
Never beat them there.
Who?
The Italian national.
No, the French is the best.
It's a coin toss, but they're both class.
Big fan of the Scottish one myself.
Yeah, the
I do
Scottish
always
was about
remember
to say.
Michael Schumacher getting into trouble for dancing to the Italian one when he won for Ferrari.
When he was on the
kind of,
podium.
like thinking he was doing the orchestra or whatever, conducting the orchestra.
I remember him
He
doing
didn't
it. I don't
respect it
remember.
and he got into loads of trouble.
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't think they'd be so kind of sensitive
Neither
about it.
did I, but I'm fairly sure
Did you
it
see
could be a
the match
dream
during
that I had.
the international break, and the French played the wrong anthem. They're playing. They played Armenian. They played the Albanian national anthem, and all the lads were just looking around. Oh, it's gas.
Right.
That is bad form.
Yeah. Do you remember as well years ago when somebody went into the stadium and they played the wrong German anthem? They played the really old one that doesn't get played anymore. Remember that? It was absolute.
No.
Really old.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
Previous one, and the players didn't know what to do when they heard it. Try and keep the arms down or something, I suppose.
Oh, Jesus.
Anyway, you put that out. Lack of goals everywhere else as well, unfortunately.
I'm just gonna grab it.
Yeah.
Bit of a toe tapper, that song, was it?
Well, got a reaction that day anyway. I think your man lost his job anyway. I think the fella who, in the room that put laser let his mate in and then lost his job over it.
I'm sure he did.
Yeah.
Guys. Anyway, there's no scores for a while. Everything is fairly static.
Yeah, it's kind of quiet now.
I've been flicking between the Forest Derby game and the Stuttgart game. How Stuttgart haven't scored is beyond me. Forest haven't really been in, to be honest. That Derby have been on top, so hopefully they can have, it's like just over half an hour left, so hopefully they can get a bit of a move on.
How's the Hearts game looking? That was in your bet, Lee.
Oh, I think. Still 0-0. Let me get it up.
Over.
Yeah, still 0-0, yeah.
That's unfortunate.
How far is it into that game?
57.
Oh, okay, I can see it now, yeah.
Elche was 2-0 up against Valencia. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, get the table up there. I think Valencia are not doing great. Generally, obviously they're not doing great tonight, but I meant more broadly.
2-0 is not great.
What is going on in that Sassuolo Torino game? I'm going to put it on here.
Yeah, Elche are 4th and Valencia are 13th in the league. Like,
is it on the TV over there, PK? Is it, or how are you putting it on straight? So
yeah, I've the DAZN app, so I can. I've all Serie, the Premier League, Champions League. Great.
Dave, what app is that?
Just a streaming thing. I don't know if they have it in Ireland. It's called DAZN.
Jeez, I actually just flicked it on there. You see the fog, like.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it hasn't been called off.
It's brutal.
Hopefully it does get called off if there's not a goal soon.
Yeah.
Get the void.
Like the ref is wearing a big fucking luminous kit and you can hardly see him. Like.
Yeah, it's real bad, so it is. Oh, jeez, it's brutal. They're zooming in on the player now and you can barely tell.
Did you see the fella in the Italian match over the weekend falling over the barrier?
No.
He runs down to the front to celebrate and he just rolls over the barrier, falls down into like a gap around the track, like a track around the pitch. He just disappears. Jesus. All the players go looking for him. I'll send it on.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Did you see
what was the Irish soccer game? I think it was a playoff game and it was a ridiculous fog and like Ireland got an important goal. They said the keeper couldn't see the ball until it was about a foot from the goal.
Oh, Slovakia.
No.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, remember that. We scored from
Montenegro now.
No.
I think it was Montenegro, yeah.
I know we watched it in the Longstones, lads, with you.
Yeah.
And they scored from a corner.
Was it a corner? Yeah. But it was just an absolute mist across the pitch.
Yeah, like, swings it in from the corner. You're just going, wonder where that went. And then the players started shouting. You're like, oh, we scored.
Yeah. They all just ran off to the corner flag celebrating kind of together. Yeah. Who was it? Like Kevin Long or someone?
Oh, I can't remember now. A lot of Ireland matches.
Yeah, there was another game. I don't know how it was called off. Like, there's no way the keeper was able to see that ball coming at him or coming toward the goal.
True.
Need some goals here, lads, don't we?
No, geez.
Yeah, it's very tame.
Lee, if Forest get one back, your draw double is looking good.
Yeah, fucking hoping so. That was my bet for tonight, was the draw in the two games. Purely got based on gut and emotion rather than any analysis, because that's how I roll.
Lads, Sassuolo just had a good chance and I can't even tell where the ball went. All I can tell is by the reaction of the players.
Didn't go in.
Because they're not even playing with an orange ball, they're playing with a white ball.
I'm watching the replay here now. I have no idea. I don't know if the keeper knew where the ball was. This is mad. It's a fun game. Do you still have it on, Gary?
No, I'm watching the Forest game.
So, did you have any tips on the women's football tonight? There's a lot of qualifying games in the Euros.
Yeah, I actually backed. I think it was Denmark during the week. It was 0-0 at half time, and they must have about 17 shots on target. With about 8 on target. And maybe it was like Israel or someone they were playing who had 0 shots, 0 dangerous attacks. It was just the most inevitable thing ever that they were going to win. And they were like 1-5 for the win. I know it's not a massive price, but I think they won either 4-0 or 5-0 in the end.
Must have missed that in the groups, lads. Most inevitable win of all time. The one didn't come across in the group.
I actually think I did send it on to you, didn't I?
Did you? I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I mean, so like just for the viewers who are watching, like Slats is obviously a huge amount of sport knowledge. You know, rugby being his core speciality, but he also, you know, he'd be our resident women's football.
I'm just all about quality.
Well. Yeah.
Gotta give him.
He's always watching.
Ireland were beating tonight in Ukraine. I think it was a big game. There's a lot of coverage of that Ireland. There's a lot of media coverage of that Ireland game all over the place this week.
There was, yeah. Do you know what? Like they had it up on the journalists, like Ireland. You know, instead of Ireland, you know, the women's team, it was just like Ireland.
Go over Forest.
It just confuses me with that stuff. Like,
yes.
No,
it does confuse. It does confuse a lot, Slats, because like at least if they have to, and like it really annoys me a lot when it's like, you know, women like WNT, but it's also useful to differentiate between the teams. Women's national team, it associates or reminds me of the very strong political characters in the US ladies team.
In our 3 Friday streams, we managed to touch on about every controversial topic in sport. In tournament in China.
Someone even brought up national.
That's what it's about now.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. No, it is confusing, Slats, for sure. It is, yeah.
Slats is gone. He's had enough of what you were saying.
Oh, another can needed if we're going to talk about all these sort of.
I was doing a Gary on it. I was telling Slats I agreed with him while I was disagreeing with him.
What's that topic?
The mighty daughter Vale.
Oh, jeez. Puma tops, eh?
Puma tops, yeah. They're
nice
giving them away
actually.
for free.
That draw double is looking really good now.
Pardon?
That draw double is looking really good now.
Yeah.
Who'd you do in the draw double again?
Villa, Leeds, Forest, Derby.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was watching Villa Leeds before this, and while it's an alright game, it just didn't look like goals were going to come from anywhere, really.
Apart from Ross Barkley.
Apart from.
As long as he gets the shots.
I wouldn't believe that, but.
Really, we want all draws with Barkley to score.
Yeah.
That's all
Well,
right.
I just wanted to have a shot on target, to be honest. That's.
I know.
It's in our group bet, Gary. Like we have our group bet that we're all meant to be in together, supporting each other. Is he not in there to score?
No, it's 2 shots on target.
2 shots on target.
I had to do him to score because I don't have the market available for shots on target, but that's the group bet is shots on target, yeah.
Eindhoven have just scored 2 goals in the first 3 minutes of the second half. So now our 2 Dutch games that we have over 2.5 goals, both have 2 goals in them. So that's looking pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Must be a lot of Far East money on that game, is there?
A lot of which?
Like a lot of Asian gambling money on that game for 2 goals in the first 3 minutes of the second half.
It's actually the Hearts game is really letting that Hearts and Sassuolo. So
yes, the Swallow is going to be a tough one now. To bring it back.
What do they have? Half an hour? 25 minutes.
25 minutes.
To get 2 goals, I mean, at least Hearts need 1, right?
No, we have Hearts and over 2.
no, we have over half, 1.5.
So we need 2 in that one as well.
I mean, you see the 2 goals in 3 minutes in the Eindhoven game. It is doable.
Builds you full of hope.
Yeah. So, Gary, over the weekend, you got a couple of bets picked out as well for the weekend in general. If you want to run through them.
Yeah, so it's just an ACCA on kind of the Football League. So I looked through the Premiership and everything I fancied. Like I really think that both teams will score in the West Ham match tomorrow, West Ham City. Because West Ham's, I don't know whether you've seen the expected goal stat.
No.
I know stats aren't everything or whatever, but West Ham basically are one of the league leaders in expected goals this season. So you wouldn't expect it from them, but they actually are creating a lot of chances. And it's kind of shown by they scored 3 against Tottenham, 3 or 4 against Wolves. The only real game they haven't scored in was the Newcastle game, because they scored a couple against Leicester as well. So I think that I was hoping that would go under the radar, and that the fact they're playing Man City. I think Man City have beat them like 5-0 every time they played them at the London Stadium. So I was hoping it would go under the radar, but it didn't. It was 6-10, so kind of moved away from the Premiership into the Football League. So basically, you have an ACA, 4-team ACA. First is Exeter. So, I mean, to me, Exeter at home are like a staple bet. They're just really good at home. They won there during the week. They're 1-0 down, came back and won 2-1. So I think they carried that home form through. Then I have Reading to beat Rotherham, which I think if I was to pick one bet over the weekend, that would be my banker and value bet. It would be Reading to beat Rotherham. So Reading are top of the table, haven't lost yet this season. And while Rotherham have done all right, I think Rotherham are about 8th or 9th. It's their second away game in a week or in 5 days. They played on Tuesday away. And now they have to travel down to the south again and play. So I think with coronavirus and potentially some fatigue, and then up against a team that are flying like Reading, I think that will have a big difference. Then I have Plymouth to beat Wigan. So Wigan have lost 5 of the first 7 games. They're kind of putting a new team together after a lot of financial difficulties. Plymouth have started the season well. My only concern there is that Plymouth's away form has been fairly dodgy. So they're like Plymouth are 9-4, so you're getting value on it. Their home form has been good. Their away form has been like dodgy. But as I said, Wigan have been that bad, losing 5 for 7. I think that even with a slightly below par away performance, they could still win. And then to round it all off is Forest Green to beat Morecambe. So again, Forest Green lost in midweek. They'll be looking to bounce back. They're one of the teams that would have been fancy to be up there for playoff spots. I think they're a better team than Morecambe. So even though Morecambe are doing all right, I think they'll win. So that fourfold it pays about 23-1. So between 22 and 23-1. I think it's value. But I said if it was to pick one bet, it would be the Reading game. I think that even if you look at Reading's form last season at home, they were fairly good. I said Rotherham travel there with 2 away games in 5 days. It's a tough slog for them.
It's a bit tough to do that, two trips in 5 days for it,
Yeah, if they were a Premier League team with a big squad or whatever, you wouldn't, think, or if it was a League Cup game where they rested players or whatever. But having 2 league games in a week away from home, and I forget now, I haven't got offhand, but I think they played somebody decent as well. Must be one of the Yorkshire sides, I forget who they played, but I remember looking at it and saying, well, they would have had a tough game there, and now they're going to play Reading. Whereas Reading this is their second home game in a week, so it's kind of a dual benefit for them. So, so Reading would be my nap, and the value bet would be the 9-4.
Yeah, I like the sounds of it. Certainly Reading, I think that's the way you describe that. I'll be including that.
I'm trying to figure out why Reading are such a price.
Yeah, when I looked at it during the week, I couldn't figure it out either. Now the only thing I haven't done is looked at injuries. So unless Reading have suffered a lot of injuries, but I don't think they have. I do track kind of Championship and League One closely enough. So that's the one thing I need to look into before having a big bet off them. But on actual form, as I said, they should be probably 4-7, and you're getting over even money on them, like 21-20 or whatever. So
hopefully this is not another Atalanta scenario where we can't figure out why the price is so good, and then
Sassuolo just equalised.
Oh, lovely.
And Leeds just took the lead.
Yeah.
Patrick Bamford, I think. Bamford, yeah.
That's not great for the bet, but the Sassuolo good is that's
Forest, they're drawn with Derby now as well. Was that mentioned?
Yeah, you stepped away.
No, it was plenty of time for Villa to get an equaliser. There was only 55 minutes gone in that game, so hopefully Ross Barkley.
Has he got it? He hasn't got a second on target, has he? He's
not that I've noticed, but he could have.
Is it still 1-1 in the Empoli game?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Nice. Plenty of time. Yeah, I like that bet, Gary. I'll probably take a couple of those myself, actually. Certainly the rating one is interesting.
Yeah, I think the double, the Reading Plymouth double, because like Exeter are 8-13, so there's not much value about them. And as a Forest Green, they do need to bounce back. So the double is definitely worthwhile. If you're if you're having kind of a medium bet, if you're having a big bet, I'll go Reading. And then if you just want an interest for the afternoon, I think a small interest on the ACA is decent. So that'll kind of be my staking and bet plan.
Very good. My own bets of the weekend, I've picked out a few different ones. I think we looked at Lazio during the week. I think me and you, Gary, were talking about them. It was very hard to call, but they fairly dismantled Dortmund, and that's not a bad Dortmund team, obviously. So I mean, they're 7-10 at the weekend, and I think that's too high a price not to back them. In Bologna are not, certainly last season they weren't anywhere close to Lazio, and I think, like you were saying last week, PK, about Atalanta, and again tonight with Reading, you're just like 7-10. It doesn't really make sense, but
Hearts are one up as well.
Are they great?
Yeah, we're getting some movement. We need a bit of help with in a couple of games, but
yeah, but not that much. Like like the floodgates open, as Slat said, so we're getting there. Yeah, so Lazio will be my big bet there. I've also got another Serie A one with AC Milan. Like they're 23-20 against Roma. I was looking at the stats on them. Milan haven't lost a game. I think they lost one game since January, something like that, or maybe since February. I think since the lockdown came back, they've won every competitive game bar one, and it's just a bizarre price for them. Like their last two games, they beat Inter, they beat Celtic away. Roma have won their last two league games, and they're looking
So
at
what price would they be?
23-20 at home. But I mean, Inter nearly won the league last year. They bet them fairly comfortably. They bet Celtic. I know Celtic have their own problems at the minute, but a trip to Celtic Park is never easy. Roma's
Thank you. Tip the cap.
Yeah, Roma's away form against I know it's an English phrase, but the big six like Juve, Napoli, Atalanta, the two Milan teams, and Lazio. I think last season, they played Juve on the last day when the league was wrapped up, and I think they hockeyed them. But that doesn't really count because Juve thrown in the towel. But I think of the 5 other games, I think they scored 1 goal. I think last season against the big 6 teams, I think they scored 3 goals away. Something absolutely awful.
Jesus.
So, yeah, they're not. As you remember, Gary, me and you went out to watch Roma Inter last season, and we went to the sports bar, and we thought it'd be a great big match, and it was just an awful 0-0.
Yeah.
So Milan are outside even money. It's kind of like your Reading one there. It doesn't make sense to me. There is they might be tired having travelled, but Roma had to travel as well, so I think it'll kind of cancel itself out. I think it's a great price. Another one that I'm looking at around even money, I think they're 20-21 or 20-23 is Arsenal against Leicester. Now, no, Leicester aren't bad, obviously, but Arsenal seem to, they're definitely a home team. They always do much better at home than they do away. And I think their away record at the minute is actually oddly good. So I think they played Leicester in the Cup, beat them to 0, lost to Liverpool away, beat Liverpool away in the Cup to 0, lost 1-0 to City. So I think in their last 5 away games, they might have conceded 2 or something like that. I think that, again, even money is looking pretty good. Aubameyang is back scoring. I think it should be, Partey they've got in the team now. I saw him last night. He looks completely different. Yeah, he looks unbelievable. The only frustration I have is that they didn't get him earlier in the summer, and then they haven't been for the 2. I think that City game that I think Arsenal were a bit unlucky to lose to City. I'd say they'd have won that match if they had him in there, based on the way he played last night. So I think, assuming that he starts on Sunday, it's an odd time actually, that match. It's like 7:45 on a Sunday night or something. It's very late on a Sunday, but I think that's good at even money. And then the long shot that I've gone for is Fulham to beat Palace. I know we backed against Fulham last week against Sheffield, but I just think that 9-5. I think if Fulham don't win this match, they're as good as relegated. They played well last week. They've picked up 1 point so far. Palace, I know Palace started very well with that win at Old Trafford, but they haven't looked great since. And this is probably Fulham. Fulham win this, they'll be on 4 points and be kind of up and running, and they might be able to string something together. I think if they lose this, they're doomed. And I really like Parker. I think he was a great player. I think he did very well with Fulham last season. I just don't know if he can get them tight enough for the Premier League. But if he can do it this weekend, I'd actually have a bit of faith in Fulham. So I'm kind of taking a punt on them at 9-5. That's a 20-1 fourfold there, but those four teams. That's the bet that I'm going for.
Torino 2-1 up.
I saw that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's that bet over. So, but
I guess who it was, Elvin?
Go ahead.
Remember my comment earlier?
No.
Betalong.
Oh, really? Did he score a penalty?
No, apparently.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Rennes have just gone down as well, so there's another bet over.
There was a
Empoli took the lead though.
Nice.
Yeah. Not really, but no.
there was a goal ruled out for offside there in the Forest Derby match, which is quite controversial. But I mean, to me, it was a definite offside. It was one of those where a guy was standing in offside position and jumped over the ball, didn't touch it, put the ball into the corner. So the ref gave, or the linesman gave it, but Philip Cocker was going mental over it, so I'd say there'd be a bit of controversy there.
That rule is just so convoluted now. So I think it should just go back to if you're offside, you're offside. There's no.
Well, it was, yeah. Perfect.
What match were we watching?
And I mean, there's nothing wrong with bad. As far as I'm concerned, part of the game is the fact that the fucking referee is human and not a computer. You know the way, he makes the best decision at the time, and that's it. I don't think you need to be going to a level to say we're going to get every decision correct to the fucking millimeter, and that's it.
The only problem with that is, Lee, that invariably it's United and Liverpool getting those calls, and it's teams get relegated on a dodgy decision that really shouldn't have happened. So if it was just look at a draw, but it's not. It's you got West Ham, Fulham. They're going to Old Trafford and they're getting shafted by the refs every year, and Liverpool and Arsenal and any of the bigger teams. So it's if it was just the odd mistake, you'd kind of just take it. But it's persistently favouring certain teams, I think, is the problem. But at the same time,
is that actually a thing? Is that a thing where they're saying referees being influenced by these places, or is it just more of a tongue-in-cheek comment?
It's definitely a thing.
No, it was definitely a bias. Definitely, refs afraid to give decisions in case they get it wrong.
Yeah,
it definitely does seem that way. You'd like to think not, but yeah.
It's just human nature. If you've got 60,000 people and you're being told week after week that Team X is the best team in the league, you'd be just inclined to just, it just changes your view of it, So
yeah.
I mean, I don't also want.
Yeah.
I don't also agree. I also don't agree with 3.5 minute delays to see if he's 1 millimeter onside or offside. That clear and obvious.
Slow the game,
Yeah, but that's the way they brought it in, was that it's a clear and obvious error, and that's 2 watches should tell you if it's clear and obvious error. So there's no point in getting.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need to bring in this thing that tells you whether a guy is a millimeter off.
Yeah.
And this science isn't exact either. The moment of impact on a ball is for the sake of half an inch. The moment of impact when he kicks the ball is debatable too, right?
Yeah.
That's the big thing about it. Is, they don't know when the ball's left his foot,
Exactly.
Well, left his foot, at least.
This is the moment it was hit.
Yeah, see, the moment that it's hit and when it leaves his foot are different. Do you know what I mean? So you could cut that and pause it at a different time. Torino just
there is a second when his foot is.
What do you think the time in between those two things is?
Like a fifth of a second.
Even, yeah.
Yeah, but they're only, if you think about it, it's only the controversial calls or the close calls that are getting checked. So it's only the ones that are millimeters or centimeters.
Yeah, that they're only a fifth of a second from overrunning.
Yeah, I mean, most decisions are right, and most ones that get reviewed are right. But it's just minute after minute, to see if this part of his shin. Do you know what I mean? You're just like, man.
Oh, come here, but it comes to the point, why bother with referees at some point? Why not just have a lad in the stand looking at the fucking camera? You know what I mean? You have linesmen and that's it. I mean,
that's a bit extreme,
yeah.
But are you suggesting that, or are you saying it'll go that way eventually? Like,
No, I'm just throwing a wild idea out there, but like I mean, like a referee is only a focal point for fucking player reaction at this stage. Like, why not just have someone blowing the whistle or a whistle blown in the stadium when there's a free kick and the referee's actually in the stand looking at a TV?
I'd say there's part of it anyway that he would just keep his
There's a control
preventative
factor to it
presence.
too, right?
You know,
The ref is needed on the pitch for other things, I believe, also. But whatever.
To what,
Yeah,
like calm down players and stuff?
Yeah, and talk through decisions sometimes and blah blah blah. Just like it's still, I'd say whatever, 80% still just the human decision making. So I think it might be slightly
Just have a
exaggerated.
robot as a ref. It'd be grand.
Like I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, like referees, like people don't want referees influencing the game, but by a referee keeping players calm, that's influencing the game. Like it's like so what we can.
but there's not. No one said you can't influence the game, but don't influence it unfairly. You know, don't always favor, or not even always, but just more often than not, favor the big club at home or. The
No, but
team.
like people would often say, like, "Oh, he's given too many free kicks." But I mean, subjectively, if that's what a referee thinks is a foul, well, then he's going to give the free kicks.
But those people I
Seems to
don't
be
agree
like-
with. People say that,
Yeah.
he's interrupting.
Goal by Banter, what a goal!
Yeah, 2-0.
That's gone.
But yeah,
That's all
I'm
the best
definitely
days.
of the opinion against technology, like leaving the more human side to it. Like there's
Me too, yeah.
it's part and parcel of it too. I'd rather be talking about a bad refereeing decision than some VAR thing.
But you know
fucking
what,
this,
though?
that, and the other, like
Part of me thinks that they have to have like intended to make it controversial because there's so many other sports have video reviews in seconds. There's no need to have a 3-4 minute review of something.
yeah.
Like-
It's clear, as you said earlier, clear and obvious. Just keep it to the clear and obvious ones, and
Yeah.
if it's
That's
anyway,
such a grey line, though. What's clear and obvious?
Exactly. When you start bringing anything in other than pure human reaction in the moment, then where do you stop? You can't stop.
True.
It's that pretty good, isn't it?
Jeez, there's a fifth goal now in the Serie A game.
Yeah, so I was going to say, that's all I've got one back.
It's just
Maybe the fog is kicking in.
the what's kicking in?
The fog.
Yeah, they've realised.
That what you're drinking, is it? But I don't. It's like the whole like flow of games and momentum and everything just gets killed with the VAR sometimes and whatever else, and just like you can't celebrate a goal like anymore. People are saying like you really can't, because you spend a minute celebrating and people in the bar or whatever, and then it's all brought back. Like it's just
Yeah, I had it last year. I went
back to the shop.
Sheffield United, West Ham last year in Sheffield. So like it was Friday night football, took the day off work, drove all the way up. West Ham played absolutely shite, went 1-0 down, and then in the last minute they equalised. So Declan Rice basically ran from midfield. It was one of those that he hit, like it was a 50-50 challenge, and two of them kind of shouldered each other.
I remember
and
it
hit off
clipping in
his
his
wrists.
hands. Yeah.
And then like he'd so much more to do. Oh, it's 3-0.
No way.
Yeah.
This is back on.
Back in it, yeah.
And their
still 5
game,
minutes left in normal time as well.
their games are just ridiculous. Like,
I'm convinced that was the fog though, because like it was a cross from the right hand side and the keeper never moved towards it. Like, but yeah, they said like with that game, like the West Ham fans were on the pitch, the players all come over, like we're all in the stands celebrating, and about 5 minutes later, the goal got given offside. It was absolute torture. But everybody at home knew before us that it was going to, like, we were getting text messages saying goal's going to be disallowed, and like then it was like still another minute or two before it actually was given in the stadium. So you can't be having that where people at home are at more of an advantage than people in the stadium, like, you know.
yeah, but I mean we've talked about it before, but they definitely like it's the fans in a TV. The fans at home on TV are definitely the ones that they care about at the moment, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
For those two Italian teams, the two home teams to win it from their drawn positions is 12-1. Seems
Ooh,
I'm
interested. I'm interested.
Yeah. think
We
I'm gonna
find
do
There's
it.
still
out-
plenty of
That's
time
all
left
again.
in the Empoli game. Like,
Oh, it's suspended in the Schwala game as well. On mine.
Yeah, it's got suspended actually.
Oh,
They have a throw in though. It doesn't say what.
mind you, it could be suspended every minute due to that fog, but who knows what's going on.
Yeah, your man, the guy on the ground.
Blow it up,
can't see.
ref. Blow it up.
No, don't blow
Oh,
it
we
up.
need another goal. Show
It's the
you.
score.
Walk away from it. Walk away.
Why is that abandoning the game now? I think it's gone far enough that the result will be called, right? I think it's. How far does it need to go for them to just say
Oh yeah, it's 87 minutes. I'm sure they'd let it stand.
it won't be replayed? Ross Barkley got a yellow as well. Did you back Daniel back him for that? No.
No. Hopefully, he was taking his shirt off after getting a shot on target.
Why is he got suspended?
Celebrating the shot on target.
Out in the corner flag.
That is
The
some
video
serious
ref
foul.
when a goal in the SAS game.
Yeah,
No,
I
it's
think that's why it's
suspended.
suspended.
I think he's actually
I'll have to put it on here.
But who is it that's going to go up 4-3 if it's given?
No, I think it'll go back
No,
to
no,
Chelsea.
it's for the 3-3 one. They're checking if it came off his arm.
Shit.
Kind of came off his shoulder. In fairness.
Oh, that's
Why anyone not watching this game?
Probably.
that's a goal. I think it's fine.
I thought it was a goal as well.
Yeah, it's given. SAS players are going mad.
Someone used their sound down. It's a little bit. Yeah, you could tell by watching it that it was a goal.
It'll be a few minutes out of on anyway, like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that would make some interruption to the Torino players as well. Like you've just been 3-1 up, now you're pegged back, and now you just have to stand around for 2 minutes in the fog while some fellas talk.
Lads, there's still 20 minutes left in the Empoli game, and I can only tell by the stats. I haven't really been watching. I watched it for 5 minutes, and they look like they're all over them. And they're 2-1. I know there's very little time left in the other game in the Sassuolo, but I think I'm going to take a little punt on Empoli to
On the
win.
double.
No, just Empoli.
Because Empoli, yeah.
Yeah, geez, their stats do look good, don't they?
Yeah.
Are we all planning on that, so?
God, I'm actually tempted.
I mean, there's still 20 minutes left, so it gives us. It gives lots of time, and judging by the stats, they're all over them. So
Yeah. Can't believe that Sassuolo game.
and I have that game on now. So oh.
Where are you watching that, PK? On your
Apparently, it's Serie B as well. This is awesome. Didn't know that. Is that streaming service? Did you ever hear them? They bought out a lot of boxing rights too. The Zone, no?
No.
I get all Premier League games, all NFL games, all Serie A games, obviously Serie B as well. Bellator, Rob Boxing, 3-0 leads.
It started to sound like a dodgy box, PK.
No, for $150 a year, it's totally legit.
Jeez, there was nearly a penalty in the Sassuolo game there.
Okay, good.
The player was over in the box. I have no idea whether he was touched or anything because of the fog. But
Gary, have we any idea if Barkley got a second shot on target? I know Villa, it's showing 3 shots on target.
He didn't.
he hadn't when I checked there a few minutes ago. But
I checked about 1 minute ago. He hadn't had it.
That's Bamford got a hat trick. Jesus.
And he would have been 7 minutes added on, by the way, in the Serie A game. So we're back in business.
I just realised I never changed my fancy football team either.
I brought in Bayern, please.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
In fairness, I probably would have brought him in if I was changing my team, but I complete the Friday night games like fuck you up, like, you know.
Yeah, they
It
can.
actually wasn't bad in the 5 scores. I thought.
PK, did you back in Poli?
Yeah.
Just went up to 1.
Okay, watching it here, I'm obviously a little bit behind, but that's great.
Very for winning.
2-1.
The spoiler are on the attack here as well.
Yeah, they're all over them. The problem is
You're doing a 12-1 double a little bit.
Yeah, I threw a fiver on to win 55. So whatever that is, 11.
Oh, you beauty. Keeper panned it out to the middle of the box from a long range shot. Good poacher of a striker. Lovely.
So you had over 2.5.
Cash.
The problem with watching SAS here is that, as good as their play is, the match hasn't gone suspended, so they're not about to score.
Well, that's why I flicked out on Sky Bet. You can watch their player, but go into a different game. So I have the Leeds match open on its odds, but the player showing the Sassuolo game.
They've actually just done the pop-out video. Yeah, it makes more sense.
But there's still 5 minutes left, like so.
No, there's plenty of time, yeah.
I'm going to stop watching this and don't watch the Leeds. If Barkley does anything, try and keep an eye on it.
What time are you on in the Sassuolo game?
92:06, 7, 8, 92:10. What are you?
Okay, I closed out of it there by accident. So nothing. Yeah.
Torino attack here now. So. Free to Sassuolo, lovely.
So Hearts won, did they?
They're 1-0 up in the last minute.
And
we had them with goals.
But if Sassuolo got a winner, are we looking pretty good for that?
No, we need a goal from Hearts because we have them to win and over at 1.5.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah.
And then I'm keeping an eye on him. I think Barkley's still at 1. He's on the ball here now. Is he going to shoot? He's going to shoot.
Bit of time left in that though from the
he shot wide.
shoot from wrong range.
Oh my God, Torino nearly scored. Did you see that tackle to win the ball?
Yeah.
Oh jeez, they're going for it anyway. I still think the most entertaining injury time match I ever saw was Arsenal Liverpool, and I remember like 15 minutes added on, but in the 100 and something minute, Van Persie scored a penalty, and then in the 111th minute or something like that, then Liverpool went down the other end and scored another penalty. It was absolutely ridiculous match. I'd say the amount of money that was lost on those late goals, like 2 penalties in injury time. I think it was about 22 minutes added on in the end. Unbelievable. Oh, this is looking out.
Hearts is over. Another one that might be worth jumping on and in play. Let me just have a look at it here now. Is it
You're back on our 1 to 20 in play.
Huh?
Didn't prove very successful, did it?
We keep
I do
going.
think we got too hooked on the laying nil-nils that there was no variety to it. And that was our problem.
The Graf Shop are nearly, there's only 10 minutes left, but the Graf Shop are nearly 2-1 as well. Against PSV reserves. But the stats aren't great, actually.
They don't look to be dominating that much, really.
Huh?
They don't look to be dominating the game that much, really. That you'd be fancying them at 1.
No, but pre-match, fucking. Graf Shop won.
What time have you, Gary, on that match?
94-35.
Okay. About 3
Am I
seconds.
ahead or behind?
No, I'm 94, 46, 47.
Okay, you're ahead of me, so bollocks.
The Graf Shop have won 9 of their last 10 at home, and young PSV have lost 8 of their last 11. So, I don't know. I'm going to stick a sneaky tenner there.
There's last chance saloon here, I'll be.
The corner.
Yeah.
God. It's been unbelievable. 95th minute goal from a corner.
You just have to hope that the keeper loses track of it in the air. Like.
Yeah. They don't have anybody in the box. What are they doing? Fella being subbed on here now, 95.5 minutes in. You have to hope that he's a set piece specialist or something.
Yeah, 9 foot.
Who was your man, the Zigic? Remember he used to play for Birmingham?
Yeah.
7 foot tall, monster.
Big young collar.
Yeah, legend.
The BFG.
Who did you play with in the Premier League again?
Yeah, I don't know.
He did.
I don't remember playing the Premier League. I just remember playing for fucking Czech Republic.
No, he definitely played for a team in the Premier League, didn't he?
I don't know, like Bolton or something under Big Sam.
Yeah.
I think Sunderland rings a bell. I'm just going to Google him here now.
Have it here. No, he never did.
What?
No. They 138 games for Dortmund, 59 goals. And then ran amok in Belgium.
Really?
Mm.
Who am I thinking of so? You're right. I'm away with the fairies. Who did it? Who am I thinking of?
Oh God, Sassuolo were on the break and the ref blew it up with 12 seconds to go. What's he doing? Game over
Asian
anyway.
money. Asian money.
Yeah, they're all going mad. All the coaches tapping their watches and stuff. You can't do that.
Gotta follow that Asian money.
You gotta follow the Asian money.
Come on, the grab shop. Come on. Need Empoli to hold on to.
What a load of shit, sugar.
Yeah.
I could do it a Ren comeback. I back them and play. So unfortunately, no.
Should have just stuck with Empoli.
We're going to try another one of these €10 to 10k builders. I don't actually have a suggestion, but I've completely bought into Gary's.
Yeah, I think Reading has to be the first one.
I'm utterly convinced by it, so I think we should start another one at that.
Yeah, okay.
Right, we need to get it off the ground.
Unless anyone has another events that they prefer to it, but
no,
I don't anyway.
I'm going in full hog on a redemption bet this weekend.
Sounds good. What's that?
Huh?
What's the redemption bet?
It is Atalanta -1 at home to Sampdoria.
What price are they? -1.
They're even money exactly at -1. I'm going. It's full redemption because I said Sampdoria weren't good enough to beat Lazio last weekend and then put egg in my face, and I said that Atalanta should be good enough against that way to Napoli, and they put egg all over my face. So I'm just going Empoli 3-1.
There's egg everywhere.
I'm just going.
Scrambled, fried, poached.
Taking. I'm going to either be fucking drown an egg next week, or I'll clean the other eggs off, hopefully. So -1, even money tomorrow. That's Atalanta at home to Sampdoria for a 4-1 win.
That would be yours, Gary. I presume so. Your evens of the weekend would be Reading.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Lee, do you have anyone that you would no slats?
I don't have one, but I've been convinced by Gary's. So PK's his now it is Atalanta redemption.
But what we could end up, they could become bets 1, bets 2, and bets 3 as well.
I think I have a safe, like a better one that's more confident. I just wanted to put that one out there, just to just to put myself dangling a bit. I'm gonna look stupid, I'd say, in 24 hours time. I think the Cowboys at 1.5. The line, I think, is -1.5 against Washington. I think is safe enough and even money. I think that's. I like to put in my best, or my safest covering the spread of the weekend in the NFL in my bets, and I think that's it. I just don't think the Cowboys are as bad as they looked. Jeez, and boy did they look bad last week. They've had a week to sharpen up though. Hopefully Dalton is just more at home, and plus it's Washington, they're going to be able to run the ball a bit easier. What's the other, Pollard? They might be able to use the ground game a bit better. I just like Washington are a bit all over the place. I just think the Cowboys are better than they should, and maybe that price is slightly reflecting the Prescott gone now and Dalton not being able to do anything and how bad they were last week. But I'm hoping.
You're not convincing me, PK. You're just telling me the problems that the Cowboys have. So
what I know is they have the problems defensively, but the Redskins are, oh Jesus, the Washington football.
You're more betting on how bad the Redskins are rather than how fucking decent the Cowboys are.
Yeah, but the Redskins going forward aren't good either. So as bad as the Cowboys defense,
the Washington football team.
As bad as the Cowboys defense is, which is horrible. I just think they'll outgun the Washington thing, and they only have to beat them at that line.
What's the over in that match, PK?
Oh, let me look here.
Talk about how bad the defenses are.
I mean, because they were coming out, a few players coming out during the week from the Cowboys saying they're not happy with the coaching and stuff. I think the Cowboys could fucking fall apart.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that stuff. I'm not aware of.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gone straight off my list anyway of bets of the weekend, PK. No offense.
No.
I mean, the cost they're weighing, I don't know, like 1.5 points. Like you don't see that small. Like it'd be as
Those
rare.
things, though, like off
No.
points.
I think one of the added things that is that the Philly won last night against the Giants. Like they probably shouldn't have won that game. And the Cowboys have to keep pace now. It's an easy division. Like it's a horrible division. Like, but they've got to keep pace. They can't let Philly go out 1 or 2 in front. So, like the line is at -1 now. Like, I don't like. I'm not like other than Prescott. Like I know he's a massive difference maker, obviously in that offense. But like, if Prescott's there, I think that line is probably 11. Closer to 10 than 0. Like so, I just don't think. I think if they can bring it back, but the over/under is 45. Now you have to remember, like, you have 2 misfiring offenses and 2 pretty bad defenses.
I nearly lumped on the over last night because it was 43. I think it ended up with 42 points.
It ended up with 41 or 42, right?
Yeah. So that would have been heartbreak. So I won't be backing that over. I was just curious.
I'm just saying, like, for another even money bet, I think the Dallas Cowboys are safe bet.
Yeah, I did consider it. Come here, is there a side bet going on now for this week?
Yeah.
What did we agree today on the WhatsApp? Like, what's the situation?
We just haven't agreed, like, who's ahead? LB, is it?
Well, LB,
between us and the Super Cup, Lee is ahead.
There's only one between the 3 of us, right?
Yeah.
So
pretty evenly matched.
How much do you want to play for, boys?
How much do you have?
The rest of the
20.
season.
He has the London money behind them. They're talking about season tickets, $1,000 a year to Arsenal and everything. There's fucking mad money over there to be spent.
Well, if you have money to waste, you might as well waste it.
There's only one person talking about it, Lee. Don't put us all in it. No. Anyway.
I'm sorry,
yeah, right. I think that's some good even shouts for the weekend. I think we'll go with Reading. What time is that Reading match, Gary?
3 o'clock, I think.
Okay, nice. We get that on as the first one.
I'm just putting other ones out there. I'm on board for the Reading bet. That's absolutely fine with me.
No, but this one we could line up 1, 2, 3, and 4 even if the weekend pans out. I'll probably bet 1 and then.
Well, yeah, obviously Dallas is on Sunday, so we can. If there's a consensus, but like it's dodgy. It's as I said, there's massive caveats to it too. You have to do it on the assumption that the Cowboys' offense improves, and well, it can't get any worse.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Dallas is a bit dodgy, to be honest. I don't.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Who's your safest bet in the NFL on Sunday to cover the spread, actually?
Let me get it up here. I mean, to be honest, I've been fucking all over the Bills all season. I don't know why. And they've done quite well, but I need to get the
13 points against the Giants.
I know it's a lot. I know this week. I know it's a lot this week. And they weren't great last week either by any means. I need to get the numbers up now.
I was meant to be checking. No, I forgot. Oh yeah. I think I put Everton in my bet of the weekend too.
What price are they?
They're 6-4-ish, just a little over 6-4.
You did, yeah. That's been a good value considering their form, really.
Yeah, they're away from home to a steady Southampton team, but like Everton haven't done anything wrong. So
are they not doing well? I haven't seen them much, but they seem to be on it.
The only drop points is the draw to Liverpool, right? So
yeah.
I know they're away from home, and I know Southampton are steady, like, but Everton look really, really good. Like I've watched a couple of the games, and they have a very good midfield there now, moving the ball like between like Rodriguez and
we picked Everton out in our pre-season preview as going to be the most improved team, and they're looking pretty solid for that so far.
Yeah, well, Ancelotti is like
fucking legend of the game, like an absolute legend.
I'm not sure how he ended up at Everton. He's just like
I think it went so bad at the end at Napoli that it kind of tainted them a bit, and there didn't seem to be a huge interest in anyone picking him up. And then Everton just went in and did their business.
They do have the money, like, to get it. Like,
fuck's sake.
He's just, he's too good to be there, really. But, if Everton back more money, they could be a force.
I was going to say, though, you look at the players that they have now, and in reality, one of the better squads he'd have coached in the last 6 or 7 years.
Yeah. And who else did I put in my weekend bet? It's around 20 to 1. Oh, Barca and El Clasico.
Oh yeah.
They're roughly even money, but I had the joy of watching Real play Shakhtar there the other day in the Champions League, and they were horrendous.
Yeah.
There was a
Like it's talk is Dan leaving again, so I just the boy is centre back Militao, and he's like an attacking midfielder playing at centre back. Like it's crazy. I don't know. He
Seven
doesn't.
Alvira watching that game on Wednesday, and they were 3-0 down. We were like, oh, they're not what they used to be, and then they come back and nearly won it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a exceptional game, yeah.
The legs went off Shakhtar a bit in the second leg.
Where was that game played?
They're training kind of. It's a secondary stadium. It's named after
Some stadium for the training ground. Jeez.
No, it's named after their real. It was the boy that was on their team when they won the first 3 Champions or European Cups. Stefano. I can't remember the full name of it, but it's in Madrid too. But this game is at the new camp as well. Did you see the second goal for Shakhtar where your man backheeled it into your man's run? But the boy Militao got beaten, and he didn't even. If you watch him, he doesn't even chase back.
No.
He's just like a lethargic midfielder. Like, well, you're centre back. You haven't even made an effort to get back for the ball. Like, it's crazy.
Those Spanish teams like Barca.
Centre. What did you say? The attacking midfielder playing centre.
Oh, he's so out of position. He steps up and then he hasn't got a clue. Like, it's bad to watch. There's the Graf.
The Graf's chap, yeah, just 94.
My in-play bets, boys.
Lovely PK.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't follow you in with that now.
I got Empoli or 3-1 up, so that's good.
Yeah, the Anthony bet was class, like, hassle free.
Yeah.
Excelsior scored there as well. 3 minutes injury time. They scored in the 94th minute. I've my own banker rolling bet going on, so I had like 220 quid on one goal in that game. Came in the 94th minute.
Jesus, fucking happy days.
They had stressed.
Den Bosch got a red card at the start of the second half, and it was a penalty for Excelsior. And if that penalty had gone in, it could have been Goal-Orama. They missed the bloody penalty, and of course, Den Bosch were just putting up a defence, then clinging on to
nothing will encourage a team to defend more than like a red card and a missed penalty.
But you think a red card, the favourites should go out and demolish them. But
it's so often it doesn't happen. We've talked about it before, that you're looking at a team and the weaker team gets a player sent off, and you expect then it to be an absolute rollicking, and it's not. It just ends up petering out into 0-0 or here 1-0.
Yeah.
Could be a lay option there for us down the line because.
And come here, Slats, are you back in the women's football in your own personal bet, or are they just a mind?
I was on Denmark.
Is it only our money you're willing to?
Raised
and they did the business, and I was definitely on another women's game, and it did the business as well.
I still would contact whichever country's FA about that game to make sure it happened, because some of those games, I wonder, are they just thrown up there? They slip them in from the virtuals into the real one to see if people can.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That is your money.
Yeah, you look at it. Remember that one had the most bizarre stats, like no shots, no attacks, nothing. It was just like
6 shots on target in the last 3 minutes and 2 goals.
Very suspect.
22 women just stood on the pitch. Didn't happen. Like no soccer ball on the pitch at all. Just all hanging around on their phones.
Playing bingo.
I think the Graf was the last attack of the game too, because it went full time straight after.
Great. Yeah.
Nice one. That's 2 nice late wins with in-play bets you got there. What were they? 2
PK.
But they're both 2-1 when I got on, so I made back anything I lost today.
But they were good shouts like that, especially that Empoli one. Like, you weren't just taking a punt like I was.
But there was 20 minutes left, and we're well on top on stats and everything. Like, I thought it was just overpriced. I would have thought to be closer to even still being a home team as well.
Me and Slats have talked about this before. Like, they definitely are just pricing those games up on like a distribution table, and as the time rolls on, the odds are just ticking up in a standard progression based on what the starting price was. Obviously, like a Man United game would be different. There'd be somebody watching that in much more detail. But some of those lower matches, especially the Serie B, the odds don't Remember when we looked at lads last season and it was Benevento when they'd won something like 20 of their last 22 games in the league, and they were 4-1, like 15 minutes into a game, just ludicrous, you know. So I don't think they're giving
First
it much
we
attention.
doubled it or trebled it up with some other
Back
games
to
that didn't
back
come
to
in.
with both teams to score, and they won 4-0. Classic. Yeah.
So can we go back and just touch on our little side bet? Just I know we were talking about it earlier on, but I'm not sure if we clarified what exactly we're going to do.
So who does the best amongst us in the super contest between now and the end of the season?
Is that what it is? That's what we're talking about?
I think so. Is that what you're saying, PK?
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
Okay. Obviously, if you want, Slats obviously can join, but he won't be officially in the super contest.
How much? How much are we talking?
20?
Grand.
A week.
No, 20 quid, Gary, not 20 grand.
You meant fine.
Guys.
I'm easy. Are we gonna track? I thought we were just gonna do it using the super contest who finishes higher, because there's only one between the three of us, so.
Yeah.
And then Gary, because I don't want to track it separately now either, unless you do, LB.
No, but should we just continue using it? Like we just, whatever. What do you want? We know what Gary's on.
Who was the one head start on me? You, LB, is it?
No, you're 16.
What do you do? Just pick the spread in every game or what?
Five. Yeah, if you want to do it, Slats, pick 5 teams. I'll send you on the information every week from Gary. Pick 5 teams to beat the spread in the NFL. But we all pick.
Oh yeah, no, you can leave me out. I'll just listen to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Slats.
NFL, I wouldn't even be able to name the 2 teams.
Right. So yeah, the 4 of us then. Yeah, it's easy to track it then in Gary's thing.
We did.
Right, so we're going to base it off the weekly results from now, basically.
Yeah.
but Gary's well ahead of us.
The thing is, we need to start fresh at 0 from this week and track
Yeah, well,
it.
if Gary's joining in, we have to start at 0 because he's
No,
well
I thought
ahead.
we were. Yeah, we're just.
I don't know. I'm only a point or 2 ahead, I think.
Oh, but hold
We
on.
start at 0.
It's who gets the most between now and the end of the season.
Okay, so it's
Okay,
not
you
about
can
we're not
track it,
carrying our
LB.
scores at the moment, so
You've already started the spreadsheet, LB, so you can keep track.
Yeah.
yeah, you love a good spreadsheet, LB.
I'm well trained in the ways of
Wednesday.
The thing we're doing as well, Slats, is that when we notice that we're going head to head in the game, so this week I went with the Browns are playing the Bengals, and I went the Browns to cover the spread, and LB's gone the Bengals, so now we've got a side bet too on it, 20 quid each.
Yeah, I know I was just excluded from that side bet, and I have the Browns as well, actually.
Well, it's up to LB if he wants to take that.
That's pretty harsh.
Don't talk.
Yeah, very harsh, isn't it? I mean, Jesus.
Big time.
You took 20 off me already, actually, the first week. Second week, was it Panthers in Green Bay?
Yeah. Okay, Grant, right, exclude me from this then. We'll try and
I'm
get
only
going.
going head to head with you. It's LB you need to organise this bet with.
No, don't worry about it. It's fine. Don't worry. Just go for it. I'll play with myself this weekend.
I'll put 20 on the table. You two can split that whichever way you want. So you can take 10 each or.
No, you can just revolute it straight to me, please.
So what do you do? You're doing what, 20 on the PK on the Browns and LB on the Bengals?
Yeah, and if it ends 3-3, it's void, or 3 to the Browns. A field goal to the Browns.
If it ends 3-3, it's the worst match of all time. But right, look, we'll wrap it up there. It's been a good night. PK is probably the biggest / only winner of the night with his laid in play double. But
Broke even.
Play betting.
Boost.
and
That's what it's all about, boys. You just gotta read the games and see the value. Look
Boost.
and get
But
lucky.
just keep punting as it's known.
Yeah, exactly. Keep chasing losses, Gary. Eventually you gotta win.
That's it.
Right, we'll see you next week, same time Friday. So